Hunter Biden. It's time we talk about Hunter. It truly is time because today
we haven't heard enough about Hunter Biden.
I always feel like I
know
feel
what his
that,
penis looks like.
I mean, if there's one thing that we need is those. I haven't even Googled. I don't know. I've refrained from doing that. Let me just intro this story because Hunter Biden pled guilty to 2 misdemeanors, tax misdemeanors, and just struck a deal with federal prosecutors around a felony gun charge. And that was because he didn't, on his application to get said gun, didn't admit that he does illicit drugs and had done drugs, which I think you're supposed to be honest on those pieces of paper, like I'm sure every gun owner in this country is. So the Justice Department has agreed to a sentence of probation for 2 counts of failing to pay taxes in a timely manner for 2017, 2018, and he owed at least $100,000 each of those years. Dun, dun, dun! Is that salacious enough? Is that good enough for the right?
I actually have I think I have a sound effect that
Can we hear it?
Sure. Go ahead. Say that again.
And owed at least $100,000 each year.
Is that?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I mean, I'm enthralled. I've also fell asleep halfway describing what these charges were, but I'm enthralled. So I just decided it was time to like dig into the Hunter Biden BS. And because Congress is doing that at this point, and they have been since 2020, really. And you've talked about it on your show because it's important to know what is there and what isn't there and how the information was gleaned and how it wasn't gleaned. But I just want to share sort of the level that we're at when it comes to the discussion. And then we can sort of give a backstory as to how we got here. But this is Marjorie Taylor Greene and Andy Biggs, both of whom, Andy Biggs is still in Congress, correct? I don't even know how these insurrectionists openly plotting with the Jan Sixers still in Congress. They're on Maria Bartiromo. Again, how is she still on the air after everything? And we can pause it whenever. It's kind of a long clip, but I wanted to share. This is what they're arguing for. They are mad that Christopher Wray is apparently, in their words, concealing information. They have to they think Joe Biden should be impeached based on Hunter Biden's crimes that they're sure exist, but they don't quite have the evidence for. So let's take a look.
This is the biggest political scandal in the history of the country. You've got a vice president conducting illegal activity, and then you have the DOJ protecting him.
Well, of course, it is the biggest political scandal. Any of us...
Sam, it's the biggest political scandal in history.
You know what? The president is conducting illegal activity. How much more? I mean, what more do you need? He's conducting illegal activity.
Absolutely.
I think that's almost definitionally illegal.
Driving is different. Committing is different. But when you conduct, it's a whole.
Well, the beauty is it's like one of those situations where like, not only have they not found the weapon, they haven't found the crime yet.
But they're searching.
Like, we know he's doing something and we know it's illegal. We just don't know the specifics.
Yes. Well, they might get to it. Maria has questions.
Have ever seen. So that's why I want to get back to these tapes for a moment, because you just said that there are 15 recordings of Hunter Biden and 2 of Joe Biden. Andy Biggs, look, obviously we need evidence. We've been talking about this for a long time. So far, the evidence has been bank records. Where are these tapes?
Well, we don't know. The oligarch kept the tapes for his own protection.
Sam, the oligarch kept the tapes for his own protection. So this is all in reference to apparently the skiff that they were allowed into.
No. Okay.
This is not part of the skiff. I thought this was part of the 17 tapes they keep going on and on about.
Here's the thing about the tapes.
Tell me.
And Grassley has said this publicly. It's Grassley and Comer, who is the head of the House Oversight Committee. And there is a document that the FBI has. It's like Form 1023 or something like that. And that is what they fill out when anybody comes in and says, I have an accusation. They write it out in a form 1023. On this form, in the 1023, which incidentally the FBI has investigated and does not find the accusation credible, on this form, it says that this person who submitted the accusation talked to another person who was talking to an oligarch who was, people believe, is the head of Burisma. The head of Burisma said that he had 17 tapes, which, as you know, all CEOs, like when you're talking to somebody, I have tapes. Really? How many? Well, 15 of this and 2 of that.
Yeah. You sort them.
It's a little bit of much. It's a big detail. Like
there's swear words on like 3 out of the 17, and then extreme nudity or discussions of nudity and violence on 10 of the 7. Yeah, no, we categorize.
But it's good to have a number.
Nixon counted how many times he said anti-Semitic slurs, like on his own tapes.
But the point is that Grassley himself has said, we don't know if the tapes even exist. We just know that the tapes were referenced in an accusation, a hearsay accusation, like
on this 1023.
Yes. And so, and that the FBI has found not to be. So they've never heard the tapes. They don't know what's on the tapes. They aren't even sure if they exist, but they do know the number of tapes that may or may not exist.
So a guy said a guy has tapes. They heard that a guy said a guy had tapes.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
The reason he did, and he said it in his 1023 statements that he was giving, he said, I'm doing this so that it'll take 10 years to link me to Joe Biden, and he's doing it for his own protection.
Wow. So he's playing the long game because this person, this oligarch, knew Joe Biden would be president, right? Not in 2016, but in 2020. Is that what I'm hearing? We're playing like the ultimate oligarch.
Correct.
Oh, so smart. So
course.
Smart.
And to be clear, Andy Biggs is sort of like hedging here. He's saying that the guy said it in the 1023. No, the guy did not say it in the 1023. In fact, it was someone else who heard someone else relay the telling of it in the 1023.
Whatever. Tomato. Where are the tapes?
And don't forget that he also said he felt coerced. So he's got the evidence. He's just been loath and been afraid to disclose those to us because
the Biden crime
I'm just
family.
Telling you, there's some really bad guys,
not
just in the U.S. but in other areas of in the world that would like to get their hands on these tapes, and the oligarch himself probably.
He does not. First off, he doesn't know that, and secondly, this has in junior high. There was always a situation where you'd be like, do you have a girlfriend? I do. She's in France or Canada, and that's why she's never around. But yes, she is a girlfriend, and we have actually gotten to third base.
Yeah, I mean, not physically, not in the same place, no, but
we
virtually.
Have. It's just that you've never met her because she's in France right now. So.
Can I talk to her on the phone?
She doesn't feel comfortable talking on the phone to people that she doesn't know.
Does she not speak English, or?
Well,
do you speak French, by the way?
Un petit peu.
I didn't know that. That's cool. No, that's tight.
Bien
no,
sûr.
Definitely third base. Wow.
Right.
All right. You still can't come to my birthday party, but so I don't see how this could be clearer than a bad guy wants to do things to get the tapes, so the oligarch is afraid. I mean, that's really specific, but anyway, maybe I could continue to cast doubt. Here we go.
Marjorie, if this is all true, why hasn't Joe Biden been impeached?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Maria, that's where I'm at. I think impeachment is fully in order. The American people agree with impeachment. Every single poll I see, over half the country believes Joe Biden has committed crimes while he's held office. Impeachment is our tool to fire people that are corrupt, that are criminals, and that are doing things wrong while they hold public office.
Okay. It's a little bit of a fact check, though. He's currently not the vice president, though. So if you want to impeach him for crimes committed while he was, can we do that now?
Of course. Impeachment is a political process. You can impeach the president for any reason at any time. And I would, for one, would encourage Marjorie Taylor Greene to force McCarthy's hand and
to
do
impeach Joe Biden.
Well, 100% they should do this. Now it's going to go to the Senate, and it will not. I don't even think it would pass the House, to be honest with you. In fact, I don't think Kevin McCarthy would ever do an impeachment, to be honest with you, because part of the reason is there's no evidence of the unspecified, let me see what it is, illegal conduct.
Yeah, the conducting
of illegal things.
But that it was Joe Biden conducting his son to. Okay, so I want to get to this. Let's play this out a little bit, and then we'll get to the rest.
I'm all for impeachment. I don't know why our conference hasn't moved there yet, because the American people are. And as far as evidence, we have evidence. We have bank records, tons of them, that show the Biden family, Hunter, all kinds of family members, even grandchildren, being paid millions and millions of dollars from all these foreign countries that we know they have no business to prove that they're producing a product or a service to be making all this money. Hunter Biden is a crackhead. His evidence that we have on him showing all of his prostitutes coming from Ukraine, coming from Russia. This shows that this man was only purely profiting by his father's powerful positions. Joe Biden absolutely should be impeached. But I got to tell you, Maria, so should Christopher Wray. Christopher Wray is no dummy. He has quite a law career. He comes from a very respected firm, King and Spalding, here in Georgia. This is a man that knows exactly what he's doing, and he's using the power of the FBI director's position to protect and hide the crimes from the American people. These are unclassified forms. Everyone should be outraged. I'm demanding impeachment. I'm with the American people, and it doesn't bother me that the conference is not there yet. I think it's the right thing to do.
Okay, so she's mad. She wants Christopher Wray gone too, because she thinks he's got stuff that is classified that should be declassified.
He's not releasing the 1023.
Right.
Now,
so she's
of course,
mad.
Yeah. Now, of course, the idea that you're just going to release any accusation that someone lodges with the FBI and the FBI is going to release all that material and amplify it seems somewhat problematic. But I'll tell you what, if that becomes the standard, I suggest that everyone start to send some accusations to the FBI.
File these 1023s.
File those 1023s, and let's air it all out. But yeah, no, it's impressive. There's no crime so far. There's only the fact that and I will be I don't know if I'm the first one, but I will be I'll stand right in line to say there is no doubt in my mind that almost every job that Hunter Biden has had in the past 15 years has been a function exclusively of who his dad was.
Now, yeah, but there's nothing necessarily illegal about that, especially given that like Burisma hasn't.
America.
Yes, and Burisma hasn't like built a stadium in DC or something. Like there's no Burisma like Burisma.com arena or something. Like the kickbacks are invisible. And if there was a deal, was there like a pipeline like directly to Joe Biden's house? He got some natural gas on tap. He got a cheap discount. Like, what was it? There's no evidence that there was any kind of, that he was actually successful at leveraging his position anyway, which, by the way, he was the head of legal affairs for Burisma. And in his book, this is Hunter's book. This NBC reported last year. He wrote in his book that few of his business deals brought tangible results. He said he wasn't desperate before he landed a position on the board of the Ukrainian gas company in 2014, but the money was helpful and that it came at a fortuitous time. He said it didn't mean that he said it meant he didn't have to work so hard to find clients. The most time-consuming part of my work, drilling 20 dry wells to finally hit pay dirt, and that it led him to spend more time with his dying brother, Beau. It also led him to spend a lot of that money on what I think the right is truly jealous of, which is drugs and prostitutes and whatnot, sex workers and such. So he even says that he was aware that his name is a commodity, but he was qualified for that job. He said that nowhere in the world that isn't part of his father's sphere of influence, but that no one at Burisma ever hinted at wanting me to influence the administration. So that's what he says. That's according to him. He also says he burned a lot of money and wasted it because he was an addict at the time. And like that there was some shady dealings with the company, was bribing other folks. I think it was before he got there. His legal advice was that they should stop bribing people. So he like gave that advice. But again, there's no evidence that anything else happened. He was just advising a sort of corrupt company, like a company that had some shady dealings, but none of that showered the Bidens with anything.
The ostensible scandal is that Burisma paid Hunter Biden and Joe Biden money to get this guy Shokin, who was the essentially like the attorney general, if you will, of Ukraine, to get off of their backs. He was appointed, I think it was like in 2015,
to get off Burisma's back of like investigating them.
Yes. And Joe Biden was on record, because it was U.S. policy as well as EU policy, to get Shokin out because he was corrupt. The problem with the accusation that Biden was trying to get Shokin fired because he was investigating Burisma is that Shokin was not investigating Burisma. In fact, one of the things that was cited as to why he was a corrupt and ineffective, essentially attorney general, I don't know what they called it in Ukraine,
right,
is that he was not investigating Burisma. They wanted him to investigate Burisma because there was all sorts of of bribery and stuff going on. And so the fundamental premise is the timeline is wrong. They didn't start investigating Burisma until Shokin was gone from that office. And so, but the way that all of this information got dug up or supposedly generated was when Rudy Giuliani went to on his fishing expedition to Italy, incidentally, with Lev Parnas. And what
a trip that must have been, Sam. Just to fly on the wall or fly on the gondola of the Lev Parnas, Rudy Giuliani, Italy
Parnas has talked about it quite a bit. And he said Giuliani was pissed when there was no information that they had been bribing Biden. So he's tried to generate some. Those charges, actually, Bill Barr assigned to John Durham as part of his investigation. But John Durham in his final report never even mentioned it because all of it was BS. It never went anywhere. And at that time, Grassley also looked into those things. And that was so.
And I believe this is that this investigation here from the Senate Finance and Homeland Security Committees, chaired by Grassley of Iowa and Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, this was back in 2020, issued their first report on Biden's business dealings. The 87-page report said Biden had, quote, cashed in on his name, but Johnson said in an interview before its release that the report included no massive smoking guns.
There you go.
So they're still looking, though.
It worked for Benghazi.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.